A very good evening and welcome to The World Now at 4. We deeply apologize for starting behind schedule. I am Uduak Daniel. First, let's talk the headlines. And on the headlines, Osibajo declares 2023 aspiration. Still on the headlines, Guinea warns foreign mining firms over inequality. Also on the headlines, North Korea minister denounces UN suspending Russia from human rights body. And on sports, Osimhen set to surpass Martin's Serie A record. And now the news in detail. The Vice President Yemi Osibajo has officially declared his intention to contest the forthcoming 2023 presidential election. Osibajo made the declaration in a short broadcast ahead shared via social media handle after months of intense speculations. He noted that the experiences, insights and opportunities gathered must be put to the use of the country and its great peoples. It had been reported that Osibajo, at a dinner he hosted at the presidential villa for the breaking of Ramadan fast, that is Iftar, on Sunday, informed the APC governors of his plan to succeed his boss, Muhammadu Buhari, whose tenure as president ends in 13 months' time. Nigeria abstained from voting in the suspension of Russia from the Human Rights Council of the UN General Assembly. According to reports, a total of 93 member nations voted in favor of the suspension of the Eastern Bloc, which has continued its invasion of Ukraine for nearly 2 months. 24 other countries, however, voted against it. Despite this, the resolution had a 2/3 majority of those voting, excluding members abstaining to vote in the 193-member assembly. Before the commencement of voting, Ukrainian Ambassador Sergei Kasilista urged countries to support the resolution. Kasilista told the assembly that Bucha and dozens of other Ukrainian cities and villages where thousands of peaceful residents have been killed, tortured, raped, abducted and robbed by the Russian army serve as an example of how dramatically far the Russian Federation has gone from its initial declarations in the human rights domain. Besides Nigeria, 21 other African nations also abstained from the voting process, including Angola, Botswana, Cabo Verde, Cameroon and Egypt. Others were Eswatini, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea-Bissau, Kenya, Lesotho, Madagascar, Mozambique, Namibia, Niger, Senegal, South Africa, South Sudan, Togo and Uganda. On the other hand, the likes of Algeria, Burundi, Central African Republic, that is CAR, Congo, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Gabon, Mali and Zimbabwe voted against the suspension. Still in the news, National Secretary of the Progressive Grand Alliance, that is APGA-APGA, Labaran Maku, has defected to the People's Democratic Party, that is the PDP. Maku, a former Minister of Information under President Goodluck Jonathan's administration, confirmed this to newsmen on Wednesday in Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital. He said his decision to return to the PDP was in response to the yearnings of his people in Nasarawa state. According to reports that Maku had defected from the PDP to APGA in 2015 after his unsuccessful attempt to clinch the PDP governorship ticket. The former minister contested for the Nasarawa state governorship position in 2015 and 2019 on the APGA ticket. When we return, news from other parts of Africa. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Guinea's military junta has told foreign Mining companies, they must share profits equally with the country and must comply with the deadline set for May to present plans to build local refineries. In a statement posted on Facebook, the presidency said a more equitable partnership with foreign firms was a win-win. The West African nation is the second biggest producer of bauxite, a mineral used in the manufacture of aluminium, and wants to benefit more from the post-mining process of turning the raw material into alumni. Guinea's leader, Mamadi Doumbouya, has also reportedly said penalties will follow if the end of May deadline is not met. And away from that story, let's have you know that a court in Pittsburgh has ruled that a corruption trial of former South African President Jacob Zuma resumes today. Former South African President Jacob Zuma faces multiple charges of fraud, racketeering, and money laundering and money related to the 1990s arms deal with a French company, though he claims the charges are a witch hunt by political rivals. Violent protests broke out in parts of South Africa after Zuma was arrested in a separate case. Moving away from that story, let's have you know. Let's quickly take a break. When we return, it will be The World Now at 4 on Hills TV. Welcome back to The World Now at 4 on Hills TV. Polls on Monday shows Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison's government may be losing the federal election to be held on May 21, even as they showed him consolidating his position as the country's preferred leader on the first day of campaigning. All 151 seats in the lower house will be up for election. Morrison's Liberal National Coalition holds 76, Labour 68, and 7 are held by minor parties and independents. Morrison kicked off his election campaign from the marginal seat of Gilmore in New South Wales, a narrow Labour gain from the Liberal Party in the last election in 2019, as he prepares to spend 6 weeks on the road before the vote. Morrison has been touting his government's handling of the economy after the emergence of the coronavirus and a faster rebound helped by the lifting of COVID-19 restrictions despite the threat from the Omicron variant. And now to North Korea. North Korea's Minister of Foreign Affairs on Monday denounced last week's suspension of Russia from the UN Human Rights Council, calling it an unreasonable act led by the United States and the West to maintain political hegemony. The US-led push to suspend Russia from the UN body over reports of gross and systematic violations and abuses of human rights garnered 93 votes in favor, while 24 countries voted no and 58 countries abstained, prompting Moscow to announce it was quitting the body. And this is where we put a pause to The World Now at 4. Next would be sports.
Good afternoon and welcome to World Now at 4. I am Aidnan Lubem and I'm bringing you some sports stories. Nigeria's Minister of Youth and Sport Development, Sunday Dare, at the weekend declared the first ever National Para Sport Festival with a charge on the athletes and officials to compete clean. Dare, who assured that the festival taking place inside the Moshood Abiola Stadium in Abuja would hold beyond 2022, said organizing the games became necessary following the enactment of the Disability Act and Commission, while recalling how 65% medals of the entire medals, including gold, silver and bronze in the last 3 Olympics, were won by the nation's Paralympians, maintained that all medals won in the competitions were gotten by the Paralympians. Director of the Nigeria Parasport and Sports Festival, Peter Nelson, said the competition would enable officials fish out younger talents in various parasports beyond paralympics, powerlifting, and a few popular games. Athletes from over 20 states are slugging it out at the ongoing National Para Games. And still talking sport, the Oriental Derby in Aba between Eyimba and Enugu Rangers ended with a 2-1 with a comeback victory in the clash that headlined match day 22 of the Nigeria Professional Football League fixtures. The People's Elephants had claimed the match point in the reverse fixture following a 1-0 win in Inewi and were all out to complete the double in Aba. But it was Rangers who drew the first blood in the 14th minute when Osi Martins rounded up Eyimba goalkeeper Basa Njeri and scored following a through pass from Chidebere Okori. Eyimba, however, restored parity in the 32nd minute when Adekunle Adeleke found Victor Mbaoma in a good position and the forward scored against the Rangers goalkeeper Seidu Mutawakilu. Mboma got his brace and Eyimba's turnaround was complete in the 66th minute when he leaped highest to head in a cross from substitute Cyril Olisema. And that's sports news on World Now at 4. Back to Uduak Daniel for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Lubem, for that one. This is how we'll call it a close, but before we go, let us give you the headlines again. Guinea warns foreign mining firm. We told you North Korea minister denounces UN suspending Russia from human rights body. We told you Osimhen set to surpass Martin's Serie A record. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Hills TV, on Instagram at Hills TV, and on Twitter on Hills TV. Our YouTube channel is at Hills TV. I am Uduak Daniel. Thank you for watching.